Okay, so there's been a fragrance that everyone has said was one of the best releases of the year. People have been hyping this one up, and I am very, very lucky to finally have it in my hands. I literally am so excited about this because I'm finally going to be telling you my thoughts on Pernoire's Otimo. So this is a perfume that is brand new. You might remember in one of my recent fragrance news videos, I talked about this scent. I talked about how excited I was about it. And I did mention, I do work with the brand. I did mention that I was going to receive this fragrance in November because the waiting list for this is pretty long. And I was so surprised in a very happy way to receive this fragrance like this week. So I tried it. I tried it. I've worn it a few times. I'm going to be giving you my initial impressions on it. Keep in mind, I've only had this for a few days, but I'm already in love with it, and I kind of want to give you a bit of a nuanced review because a lot of people have kind of been giving, like, I think the surface level thoughts on this, and I want to tell you what I think this fragrance smells like, whether I think it's worth it, and also compare it to another fragrance from them that I absolutely love, which is called Kama. So both these perfumes are amazing. I love Pernoire. They're a Swiss perfume brand, and they really are pushing the envelope when it comes to their fragrances, especially their recent releases. I do have codes associated with Pernoire that are affiliated, and I do want to be totally transparent with you, right? So what I typically do when it comes to Pernoire fragrances is I have their discovery set, so I already know what the fragrance is going to smell like, and then I'll request a perfume, and if they want to, they'll send it to me. And again, I have no obligation to post about this. This is the first fragrance I have from them that I completely wanted to get blind. Like, I didn't know if I'd like this fragrance. I figured I would, but this is the first perfume I've gotten from them that I've literally not smelled until I had the bottle, because before I've either tried the fragrance or I've had their discovery set, which I think is super amazing, and I've used their fragrances that way. I've kind of like learned about the brand that way. So this is the first time I literally blind received a fragrance, and I was super excited about trying it out because there were so many reviews on it online. People were really hyping it up. I think it might work for a lot of people, and that's what I want to talk about in this video today. If this is your first time watching this channel, hello, my name is Anya. I love fragrances, and I talk about them here every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, along with a ton of bonus videos in between. So if you're interested, do consider subscribing. So in keeping with Pernoire's design, this perfume comes in a beautiful black bottle. The fragrances in their line all have an image or a theme associated with them. In this case, this is a phoenix. The phoenix is rising from the ashes. This is a mythological element that they're incorporating into this particular release, and I absolutely love it. The bottle itself feels very luxe. It feels heavy. The cap is weighted. This is a high-end fragrance. This is a very luxe fragrance, and the bottle is representative of that. But when it comes to the fragrance notes themselves, right, this is a perfume with top notes of rum, quince, and cardamom, a mid of praline, tobacco, and tonka, and then a base of osmanthus, vanilla, and cedarwood. This perfume is actually, to me, it's kind of like a chocolatey fragrance. This perfume does have that top note of rum, and it is visible when you initially smell the fragrance, but it does die down a little bit. I also get something a little bit spicy in the opening as well. It almost smells like a spiced rum cocktail. Yeah. And then the dry down is where the vanilla, the sweetness comes out more. So the opening, think boozy and peppery, but it's still smoothed out with, I think, that quince note. But then the dry down is where you get something that, to me, smells a little bit chocolatey. And there's no note of chocolate in the perfume, but I do know the founders do like chocolate. And I actually asked them when I met them at Essence this year if they were going to include a chocolate perfume, because what they were giving out at Essence were like these discovery sets, but then they also had chocolates with the perfume. So they were like, okay, so this chocolate is meant to be experienced with this perfume, and so on and so forth. And I was asking them, like, are you going to include chocolate in your fragrances? And they said there's nothing that was coming that had chocolate in it, but I do think this is kind of chocolate inspired. Yeah, because now that the fragrance has had a chance to dry down a bit, the spiciness and the booziness has kind of quieted, and I'm getting like a chocolatey vanilla. It's not an extreme obvious chocolate, but it's kind of like, it smells a little bit like chocolate, but not like a sweet chocolatey perfume. Let me look at the notes again. I think what I'm getting is maybe like the praline with a touch of that vanilla and osmanthus. Osmanthus is a bit of a kind of gourmand-ish floral note, so it adds a fluffiness to perfumes. And I think that the combination of the praline, maybe a little bit of that tobacco, the vanilla and the osmanthus comes off to my nose as very chocolate smelling. This perfume is very, very good, but it's not my favorite from the brand. I would say it's number 2 in terms of what I love from the brand. And keep in mind, I love this brand. Like, I love their fragrances, but I would say my firm favorite from Pernoire is still Kama. Kama is the fragrance that I have to choose time and time again from Pernoire. Both these fragrances are amazing, and I think Otimo is a beautiful fragrance for those of you who are gourmand lovers. Maybe you want something that is boozy but like not too sweet. Otimo is a brilliant accompaniment if you really want that kind of experience. But I think Kama is like my favorite from the brand so far. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing that I have from this brand that I do not like. Everything from them I really, really do love. I will say this, Otimo is also a fragrance that I really love layering with cherry perfumes. Venom of Love by Navitus is a fragrance that I've been wearing with this, and the combination of like the cherry with the boozy notes here is so, so divine. Like, it's absolutely delicious. Yeah. As it develops, you get more of the vanilla. I really, really like this one. I would say this perfume is totally worth the hype. I like how they're experimenting with tobacco here, but they're not doing it in an overtly sweet way. A lot of tobacco fragrances, to my nose, they seem a little bit too sickly sweet, and I don't like when tobacco is done that way. But here it's not done that way. It's done in a very refined, elegant way, and I can absolutely see this as a fragrance working for everyone, and that's what it's marketed as. It's just so, so good. I wouldn't call this a beast performing fragrance because when I've worn this a few times, and again, I've only worn this a few times, it's not a fragrance that's like a nuclear beast mode perfume. I would say some of their other perfumes do tend to last better than this one. But again, I've only had this for a while. Maybe this fragrance needs a chance to settle, but that's my current experience with it. But I think this is phenomenal and easily a must-have fragrance for the fall time, unless you don't like boozy fragrances or vanillas at all. I can't imagine anyone would, but if you don't like that, then you might not like this. But this is available in their Discovery set. So again, if you want to try their fragrances, I highly recommend getting the Discovery set because you will have an experience with these perfumes, because I definitely think Pernoire especially is a brand that experiments with a lot of interesting notes, and you might be looking at some of their fragrances and you might think, I can't go for this perfume because of the scent pyramid. But once you smell it, your mind may change. Case in point, let me show you Kama. I've talked about this perfume so much, and this is one of those examples like of a fragrance that has leather, which is a note that a lot of people are scared of. It has leather, blackberry, and cotton candy. It's insane, right? But it smells amazing. I receive compliments on this one constantly. This is easily one of my must-have perfumes in my collection. I'm obsessed with this perfume. I need to have it. This is a must-have. But this will last a very long time, and it also has a very extreme sillage. So I feel like Otimo, even though it does have those like boozy accords to it, it actually, I don't think it's as much of a beast performer. So this perfume seems to be a little bit more subtle. Again, that's my experience after having it for a few days. But Kama is definitely a powerhouse. But yeah, I am so excited to have both of these new releases. Kama was launched a few months ago, and obviously Otimo is brand new. And if you watch my videos and you think you might align with my tastes and what I prefer in fragrances, I'd highly recommend checking these perfumes out. But like I said, get the Discovery set first. You can get a pretty good discount on it, so that is available on their website. Highly recommend you check that out. But yeah, that's my initial review of Otimo. Like I said, I'm going to continue wearing it, so I'll have a lot more information for you as I continue to get to know this fragrance. I do think a lot of times some perfumes, when they first when they're first shipped, especially if it's a long distance, and I believe this shipped from Switzerland. So yeah, these like perfumes that come a long way, especially if they've been delivered via air, they need some time to settle. And I've noticed this with so many perfumes in my collection. When a perfume initially gets delivered, it's going to smell a little bit different because it's just been put through a lot of different temperature changes. That's just my experience. And I do expect my experience with Otimo to evolve, and I will keep you updated as it does. But for now, I really, really do love this, and I think it's a great one. It's just such a unique take on a gourmand scent. Like I said, personally, I do think that this smells like chocolate, which I love. Yeah, so this is such a lovely scent. I absolutely love this perfume. I think it's great, but I also do want to spotlight Kama as well, because Kama is also amazing, but these are very different perfumes. So like I mentioned, the note of cotton candy in Kama, right? You don't smell cotton candy in this as you think cotton candy might smell like in a perfume in your head, right? I don't know if that made any sense, but I highly recommend trying this. Like, you have to try this because it's smooth and leathery, but it has a bit of sweetness to it, but it's still so unique. I've never really smelled anything like this. And Otimo is brilliant as well, especially if you love like gourmand vanillas, like if you love gourmand boozy vanillas. This is like boozy, but not too much. This is really, really good. Both of these fragrances are amazing. Again, highly recommend you try them out. Get the discovery set. It's such an affordable price, especially for a niche discovery set, and I'd highly recommend you check it out. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review and found it useful. Let me know, have you tried any of Pernoire's fragrances, or is there anything from them that you're eyeing? And if so, what are your thoughts? What fragrances really stand out to you? Let me know. Let's talk about it in the comments. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.